Okay, we're going to be doing a pre-start check on. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, okay, because that's what it needs to be. Tomorrow, I just want you guys to be thorough and talk me through what you're checking. So what was the first thing I look for on a pre-start?
Lights.
No?
No.
Something else that starts with L?
Lights. No. I like book.
Logbook.
There you go.
Okay, I've got my logbook, my pre-start checklist, looking to make sure no one's recorded any faults. And if you follow me around this way,
Logbook.
I want to make sure that the model and serial number on my logbook match up with what's on my data plate. Alright, once I've done that, I'll chuck my logbook back.
Check the data plate.
Check the data plate. Okay, so this data plate, really simple. We don't have two lines like we were looking at previously. We've got one line that goes across. What we're looking for here is mast vertical capacity and mast forward capacity. That's it. Keep it simple. Okay, what was the third check I do? Everyone's forgotten already.
Seat
belt. Seat and seat belts. Okay, so seatbelt goes on. Check that it works, and I'm inspecting it to make sure there's no rips or tears. Okay, with the seat, no damage across it, and it adjusts freely. Okay, what comes next? Battery and fuel. Okay, underneath here, what type of forklift do you reckon it is? Battery.
Battery.
So what do you reckon we're going to find under here?
Battery.
Battery. Okay, have a good look, guys.
Oh, here's a battery.
Lots of batteries, lots of electricity, okay? What we're looking for under here on this specific forklift is that green light flashing, okay? If you do not have that green light and it's flashing red, it means the batteries are not good, okay? Green light means good. If you see a blue light, it's connecting to our Wi-Fi and sending data to our leasing company, okay? Because what they've done is they've implemented an aftermarket modification. It's a probe that goes into the battery to determine the water level, and it runs self-tests, right? Not every battery forklift will have this. So let's say we didn't have that. The checks that we're doing, the water level on each cell can be indicated by this little float.
Yeah.
There's a clear window with a white ball floating on top of the water. Yeah? So I'm making sure they're all to the top. I'm making sure the terminals are in good condition and there's no corrosion buildup, okay? And I'm making sure that the cables that connect the batteries to the motor are in good condition, no exposed wires, no damage, okay? This plug right here, an Anderson plug, is actually how you charge the forklift as well. So we want to make sure it's all in good condition. All right.
I have a question for you, mate.
Sure.
So at where I work, I always tell my guys, because they were, we're going to fill the battery with water. I'm like, that's not your job. Because I feel, have you been trained on it? No. Because they say, oh, we're going to fill that with water. Like, have you been trained on it? No. Are they expected to change that?
Yes, it is part of the operator's responsibility.
Even though they haven't been trained on it?
So part of the unit of competency for the forklift license is refueling the batteries. Yeah. But if you feel that they haven't been trained or they're not competent in doing that, you can run a very basic on-site training and just tick them off and say, yep, they're competent to do that.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. No worries.
The company I worked for, Explorer, they had Mindy to fix, they would do that all that stuff.
Yeah. So these ones require a little bit more, right? As the operator, we do need to check the condition of the batteries and maintain that water level, right? Because over time, with these batteries, due to the heat, that water will start depleting, okay? And if we let it run dry for too long, we'll actually damage the overall capacity of the batteries. It won't hold a charge for as long, and there is a risk of them being damaged, right? Now, if you're leasing your forklifts, you don't want your leasing company to come back at you and say why the battery's damaged. If you own the forklifts, that's even more of a reason to look after them, because otherwise you're going to be without a forklift. To give you an idea, right? We bought 2 Toyota forklifts, battery forklifts, secondhand at a previous company I worked at, but whoever bought them didn't go through their diligence and check them properly. The batteries were cooked, right? They would hold only 20% of its original charge, which means we'd get maybe an hour per day, right? Not only that, they hadn't been maintained to the point that it actually leaked acid out the bottom and had eaten away the steel underneath the forklift.
Yeah.
Oh.
Guess how much a battery unit costs? At least 15 grand. One of these batteries, if one of them dies, you have to replace the whole unit. You can't
Oh.
replace individual.
Mm.
Right? We bought the forklifts for 16 grand each. The batteries were about 14 to 15 grand.
So buying another one.
Not only that, the downtime, 3
Yeah.
months. 3 months.
Should it not go to fall onto manufacturer's responsibility to provide a safe forklift or whatever plant, because it's their responsibility to maintain that,
Yeah.
not just the user like me. Like if we're just working in a company, so they should provide
How about the warranty?
responsible qualified individual to look after those.
So they will. You will have your scheduled maintenance, which is minimum 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should.
But that you need to be topping up the water weekly.
That's the thing. If it's in the manufacturer's specification that to top it up. then
Yeah. So it's
in-
actually in the owner's manual for any battery forklift.
Yeah.
The operator is to maintain it. Right. It is a license holder responsibility to maintain the machine that you're working on. Right. We're not chopping and changing anything. We're not getting in here
Yeah.
and modifying anything. But maintaining that water level is part of our responsibility. All right. Lovely. From there, let's move on. We're checking the overall condition of the whole forklift. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking for leaks. We're looking for damage. Let's start at the front. Okay, I'm methodical about the way that I do my pre-start checks. I'll do it the same way every time. I'll check everything
first.
at the front before I move around. You ever seen someone do a pre-start check where they walk 20 times around the forklift? Not me. Not me. Okay? The
Okay.
forks. No cracks,
cracks.
no burrs, no chips. They're straight, they're not bent. Okay? We come up along the heels, we make sure they're locked into the carriage with our locking pins, and there's no leaks coming from underneath it. Okay? The load guard and the carriage are in good condition. It's not coming off the forklift. All of the welding points are intact and it's bolted in. Okay? From there, I'm coming up to the mast. With the mast, I'm checking to make sure it's nice and straight. There's no big signs of rust or damage. All of the welding is intact and my rollers are in good condition and greased. Okay? In between the masts, I'm looking to make sure there's enough grease in there. I'm looking at the hydraulic hoses, the chains going over the pulleys and not jumping off, and no damage, no cuts, no leaks. Okay? From there, I'm checking the actual hydraulic cylinders. Okay? So the hydraulic cylinders or hydraulic rams, you've got one in the center here. You've got two on the back of the mast. Okay? Those are my lift cylinders. So you've got your primary lift cylinder and your secondary lift cylinders. Okay. From there, I'm checking my side checks. So in between the carriage, I'm making sure there's no damage, no leaks. And then my tilt cylinders. One here, one on the other side, no damage or leaks. All right. Now that I've checked everything at the front, that's when I'm going to move my way around. Now I'm looking at the side of my mast. On the side of the mast, I can see more of the pulleys, more of the chains, more of the hoses, making sure they're in good condition. Making sure my service record is in place. Making sure there are some safety decals on the forklift as well. Okay? From there, I'm checking my wheels and tires. They're in good condition. There's no big chunks missing. There's enough tread. There's no damage. They're fitted correctly. Overall, they look in good condition. I'm just looking at one so far. I still have to check the rest. Okay? I'm going to follow it up. Looking up and over the overhead guard. Okay? I'm checking the frame. No damage, no cracks in the welding. Can clearly see through the overhead guard as well. Some of them might have a Perspex kind of shield. We want to make sure it's clear. Okay? I can check my lights, making sure there's no damage to the lenses. Making sure the mirrors are in good condition. And making sure my handrail is secure. Okay? From here, I've already looked at the batteries, but I do want to check the cab. I want to make sure that all of the controls and steering wheel and the hydraulic levers and the pedals are all in good condition. No major damage. All right, we come around, We've already checked the batteries, we've already checked the seat and the seat belt. So what I'm looking at now is the back of the forklift. Okay? Back of the forklift, I'm checking the rear lights. Cracks, damaged, any exposed wires, anything like that. Alright? I come down, I check the counterweight. This right here on this forklift in particular, this is solid steel. Alright? This does not get damaged easily. This does damage. Okay, this is a wrecking ball. The rear tire pivots, we swing around the front, creating that rear end swing motion. Yeah? If this hits anything, this will be fine. Whatever it hits is not going to be fine. A person, a structure, a building, a vehicle, anything like that. What we look for back here is we look for major damage, but also to make sure no one has modified it. Because if someone had modified this, altered the weight, it's going to throw off the whole machine in terms of capacity. Okay, my rear tyres, I can't see them too well, but from what I can see, they're in good condition. Okay, then I'm coming around to this side. Once again, just an overall check, making sure the structure looks okay. The big signs of wear and tear. The wheels are in good condition. Overhead guard, lights, mirrors.